Hi there, welcome back to the YouTube channel. Glad you could make it to see me today. Going to go back a bit in time again and have a bit of fun really. I was going through my decks on MTGO the other day and I realised that I don't have any Jund commanders set up, and I really want to have one set up, and I decided to want to try and do something a little bit different and a little bit more unusual maybe. I just don't think it's a commander we see very often that I've picked. So I went through them all, I went and found a commander I wanted to play, and this is the result of this. So, without further ado, let me introduce you to Prossh, Skyraider of Kher. 3 black, red, green, legendary creature dragon, adds 5/5, which is good, and when you cast this spell, create X01 red kobold creature tokens named Kobolds of Kher Keep, where X is the amount of mana spent to cast it. Flying. Sacrifice another creature. Prossh Skyraider of Kher gets +1/+0 until the end of turn. So, this is where we are. Like I said, a little bit different from normal, and I really wanted to think about this sacrifice thing. There's a lot of ways of sacrificing creatures in Jund, for want of a better phrase, or Zitoro's clan if you want to go down the New Capenna route. For us old school people like me, it's still going to be Jund forever, I'm afraid, so sorry. So, I had a look, I had a think, and I had a play. So, start with the mana base. As you can imagine, there's actually quite high numbers. 39 lands in this deck for me. It's because Prossh is quite expensive to cast in the first place, and we probably going to keep casting it so we get those nice little kobolds when we do cast it. So that's why we've gone down the heavy land point. One thing I will say about this deck, when you look at the deck list that's down below and you go and click on it, it comes up with a price. Ignore the actual monetary value of the deck. There's a couple of cards in here that are quite expensive to buy in real life if you're looking to build this in real life. If you're looking to buy on MTGO, it's not too bad. You can check the tickets thing out. The first one of those cards is in the land cycle because I've got Gaze Cradle in here. The second one of those cards we'll come to in a minute. But yeah, so we've got a nice selection of black, red, blue, black, red, blue. Where did blue come from? There's no blue in this deck. So we've got black, red, green, black, and green red lands. Quite a nice selection of them, including the Proving Ground from New Capenna, because if we're going to have a card that comes in a new set, we might as well have it in, especially if it's in our colours. The other thing I wanted to point out is that Savage Lands is also in this set. This one's actually from the Q prize pack, but it was in one of the original sets. It's worth going and picking these up. Yeah, it doesn't cycle, but it still does exactly the same thing as the Proving Ground, but I've got both in here for the sake of it to help out with the mana base. Speaking of the mana base, we've got the usual selection of artifacts in here. I've gone with Mox Tantalite, Soul Talisman, Soul Ring, Arcane Signet, one of each of the diamonds in the right colours, plus Felwar Stone. Coalition Relic and Skyclave may be a bit of overkill. They may be things that can come out, but I've included them for now because I want to be ramping up to get some of the bigger stuff in play when I'm playing this game. So that's kind of the ramp. Oh, plus Solemn Sim's in here. I'll mention Solemn Sim in the rank. I would obviously, if you're playing on MTGO, go and pick one of these up if you can play in real life and afford to get one. They're not overly expensive, but they're kind of limited, but it's difficult. If you've got them, play them. On MTGO, go and get one. You'd have to get this one. This was the original one that came out. It's Kai Bud's invitational card from back in the day. But you could go and pick Solemn Sim up, and it's not a lot of tickets at the moment at all. It's probably, I think it's under 1 for the most recent printing. So go and grab one if you're playing on MTGO. Anyway, enough of the sales pitch for Solemn Simulacrum. Here we go. So, spells. One of the things you've got to remember, I'm going to be looking at sacrificing creatures on this deck, so bear that in mind when I'm going through this, by the way. So, we've got Fail Push to take out some mana dorks or things that are annoying. If we can sacrifice something off, we get to take out something with mana value 4 for 1 mana, which is fine. One of the first way of sacrificing things is Fizz for Seer, so we can scry, if we cast Prossh, get a load of nice kobolds, and then we can scry through our deck, which is cool. Impulsive Pilferers here. It's one of the creatures, it's a 1/1, which isn't bad on turn 1, and when it dies you get a treasure token. You can sack it off straight away to Visible Seer and get the treasure token if you need it, so bear that in mind. Strike at Rich is in here as well, just to help with the mana development. Elixir of Immortality is also in the deck. Because we are going to be sacking creatures off, we do want to get them back in our library if we can, so that's why the Elixir is here. I've also included Shadow Spear. I'm starting to toy a bit more with the equipment in some of my decks. This one I was concerned about the life that we could be taking and the damage we could be taking, so I decided to include this for the lifelink ability. Sorry, I've mentioned. Right, so up to the 2 mana creatures and cards, sorry. Blood Artists. We like sacrificing creatures, I said that. This gives us a nice little ping effect on every target player, and we gain a life when we do it, so that's cool. Dockside Extortionist is currently sitting at 6.22 tickets on MTGO. If you see a red deck come up as a deck tech going forward, the chances are it would include Dockside. There is no point, you know, I ummed and ahed. I was talking to people on my stream, and we all came to the conclusion it's worth the investment. And to be fair, I haven't stopped playing in a deck that has red in it since, so I'd go and get one. We all know what it does by now, I hope. So go and grab one. Goblin Bombardment's one of the ways we've got sacrificing creatures. Sack off a kobold, ping something. Sack a kobold, ping something. It seems a bit of a no-brainer, and obviously if you've got this in play in Blood Artist, you're getting sort of like maybe 2 damaged onto a person, 2 life gone, take them down quite rapidly. You'll be surprised how quickly that rapidly they can be taken down with these. Impact Tremors is in here because we are going to be creating them, and it says whenever a creature enters the battlefield. So when Prossh comes into play, you get Prossh, and if you've got this in play, if it's the first time you've cast Prossh, you get 6 kobolds. That's 7 damage to each opponent off 1 card with this in play. What I will say is, you want to try and do this when you've got enough mana in play to pay Prossh or one of the other creatures we're going to talk about that comes in and creates other cards. Because I have played Impact Tremors a few times on MTGO, and you do become a target very quickly when people see this turning up, so bear that in mind. That's one of the reasons I haven't got any of the green ramp creatures in here. Torment of Voice, card draw, you all know what it does. Rampant Growth, go and find a basic land. You know, we've got forests, we've got mountains, we've got swamps. Body Dropper, because we are going to be sacrificing creatures, so getting this up and getting some +1/+1 counters on here. And also, if we haven't got sort of like Goblin Bombardment, Seer in play, it gives us another way of sacrificing creatures off to trigger things. So we can't complain too much about it. Fireblade Artist is here. Sorry. Again, it's another way of sacrificing a creature and deal 2 damage to target opponent or planeswalker. So it does help. Jury's here because we're sacrificing permanents. Might as well get some counters on here as well. And when it dies, it deals damage equal to its power to any target. So if you get this big really quickly, and don't forget we're going to have some treasure tokens as well. They count for permanents. People will start being wary about killing Jury as soon as they see it. So be aware of it. Kalane's in, Reclusive Painter, the treasure tokens it creates. It also means some of the treasure tokens we'll be creating, we'll be able to put some +1/+1s on by counters onto creatures as we use the treasures to cast them. I've included Terminate, destroy target creature, it can't be regenerated. There's a few more creatures turning up now, they're a little bit annoying, but it gives you a bit of spot removal if you need it to go alongside Fatal Push. I talked about all the ramp stuff. Swiftfoot Boots is purely here to protect Prossh. We can give them haste, hit for 5. Okay, if they block it and kill it, fine, well good. But at the end of the day, we do want to protect some things. And it may be you don't even put it on Prossh. You just let Prossh die and keep casting it, and you put the Swiftfoot Boots on, say, like Blood Artist to protect it from targeted removal. Not the worst plan in the world if need be. Going on to the 3 drops, Bastion of Remembrance does the same thing as Blood Artist, but it's enchantments, so it's a little bit harder to remove. It also gives us a 1/1 Human Soldier creature token. I'm ignoring the fact it says white. Yeah, but it gives us a token, so it's okay. Liliana, the last hopes here, is purely because +1 gives the creature -2/-1, which is nice. And the -7, if we can get that emblem and start hitting those zombie tokens, life becomes unpleasant for our opponents very quickly. The second card that's posts the monetary value of this up is Wheel of Fortune. As I said before, you can ignore this card, you can replace it, you can put something else in. Doesn't matter what, maybe Lightning Bolt, something like that maybe. But just bear in mind that this is why the monetary value when you look at the deck, this is expensive. But it's good in this format in MTGO. So it's worth picking again, it's worth picking one of these up if you can get one. Zorn's in here, purely because we're creating treasure tokens as we go through this deck and getting extra treasure tokens, which means we get extra things. Again, good fun. Cultivate to go and find some lands, we all know what the ramp does. Growing Rights of Illimitech is the backup Gaze Cradle. It also means we can dig down and get a creature that we might need into our hand. Mahidi Emporium Master is a really nice card from Battle for Baldur's Gate. At the beginning of your end step, create a treasure token for each creature that died this turn. This is amazing. If you start sacking tokens off, sacrificing all your little kobolds off, you sacrifice them off, you could end up with quite a lot of treasure tokens, so bear that in mind. Likewise, Mayhem Devils in here. Yeah, it probably is another card that makes you a bit of a target if you see it in play. But it's worth playing in this deck. Academy Manufacturer, because we are creating treasure tokens, we're talking about Mahaldi, we're talking about Kaleen, we're talking about Impulsive Pilferer, Brass's Bounty when I get there. It's worth having this in here because the clue, the food and the treasure token could keep you alive, especially the clue and the food. Draw the card, get some extra life, it's probably a good idea. Coalition Relic and Skyclave Relic. I think I mentioned them at the start, I can't remember now, I'm old, I always forget what I've done. I'm not sure these need to be in here with all this, but I've left them in for now because we do want to be ramping up to the heavier stuff as soon as possible. Whisper, Blood Litigurus is here. Sacrifice 2 creatures, return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. This is a good target to put the Swiftfoot boots on, because it means if you've got a couple of kobolds kicking around, you need to return something to play, you can do it there and then. So yeah, this is why this is in here. Again, it's another sacrifice effect. Damnation, just to have a bit of board control. Yeah, I've always got one in if I'm playing black now. Porphyros does the same thing as Impact Tremors, it just does it bigger and better. Again, it makes you a target. It's one of those cards that comes in, but giving the creature you control +1/+nothing till the end of turn isn't to be sneezed at either. But just bear in mind, you do become a bit of a target when this comes in. But it does take away all the exile hate, so they might take away exile this enchantment and leave you Impact Tremors behind. So just be aware of it, you probably either become a target or this will disappear rapidly. Atushi, the Blazing Sky. Treasure tokens when it dies is quite nice. Exiling the top 2 cards of your library and playing them to the end of your next turn is also nice. It's up to you what you've got. If I've got Academy Manufacturer in play and this dies, I'm doing the treasure tokens. If I haven't got it in play, I'm probably exiling the top 2, just so we know. Beetleback Chief is in, basically because it comes in and gives us a couple of goblins along with the 2/2. So 4 mana for 4 power across 3 bodies is quite good. I've included Hellrider. Whenever a creature you control attacks, Hellrider deals 1 damage to the player or planeswalker it's attacking. Yeah, that's actually quite a nice little way of winning. We do have quite a few tokens coming out, and it does give us a way to get around things, so bear that in mind. Garrick's here to untap lands, another reason for it. Push comes to shove, we'll have a beast token, but if we can get the +4, -4 ability and do them +3/+3 in trample, we've got a really good chance of winning. I've included Prosper, just because I decided to more than any other reason. Again, we get treasure tokens for casting stuff from exile. Yes, we'll be exiling cards, we need to keep it in play. It's interesting, it's also Death Touch, so it makes people a little bit more dubious about attacking. Solemn I know I've mentioned. Revelant Riches is in here. Hopefully we'll be killing off our opponent's creatures quite happily. We'll get lots of treasures, and when we get 10 or more we win. It's an alternative win condition. It seemed like a good idea to me. Jinji, the Midnight Skies here. There's a trick I've learned with this, which I didn't know about. Let's say your opponent discards a big Eldrazi. I don't know. Think of one that shuffles itself back into its library. Don't care which one. If you can put the shuffle effect on the stack, you can sacrifice this to something like Goblin Bombardment, Viscera Seer, and grab it before it shuffles in. Yeah, the rest of it still triggers. It shuffles all the rest of their library back into their graveyard. The rest of their graveyard back into their library. Get that, but you get the big creature. Bear it in mind. It's a nice little trick. I saw it. It was done against me a few nights back on when I was streaming, and I was like, oh yeah, didn't realise that happened. Good point. Anyway, so Conrad the Grimm's here. This comes in, you get to, as creatures go into the graveyard, you get to deal damage to each opponent. Again, it's a nice little way of finishing off the, getting this damage into your opponent, and you can mill them out. Each player mills a card, it's not the worst thing. I wouldn't use this unless I had Elixir of Immortality in place. The last thing you want to do is mill your Elixir. Siege Gang comes in, 5 mana, gives you 5 powers worth of creatures, and the ability to pay a couple of mana and start shocking things. Yeah, okay, Colvold's in here. This deck could have been built around Corvold. I'm well aware of that. I wanted to build it around Prossh just for something slightly different, but I've included Corvold. Do you need it in the deck? No. Is it nice in the deck? Yes. It gives you a bit of card draw, so bear it in mind. Likewise, Wasitora Nekura Queens in here. I think might have done another deck tech with these colours, but I want to do something different, and I've deleted this deck at the moment from my collection. But again, it's quite nice. Getting those nice little cat tokens helps out a bit. Sunbird's Invocations in. Basically, so you can cast some more spells from your hand from the top of from your library. Don't forget, if you've got this in play, you're playing lots of 5-drops, you're going to hit one of these with a bit of luck. Ooh. Sorry. So it's worth having in the deck. Apologies. Scourge of the Throne is a new inclusion. I've added it in for the dethrone ability, and it gives us a second attack phase if we attack the creature, if we attack the player with the most life. The opponent, I think it is, with the most life. So giving that extra attack phase is really nice, especially if Hellrider's in play, so bear that in mind when you're playing this, but I decided to include it just to see if it worked or not. Zitora the Incinerator's in. No reason not to have it in, and if you can sacrifice, when you do Zitora, at the beginning of your end step, you may sacrifice another creature. When you do, Zitora the Incinerator deals damage equal to that creature's power to any target, and you create 3 treasures. You can just sack off a 0/1, not do any damage, and still get your 3 treasures. Not a bad little thing. And treasures, treasures are prizes. It's always good to have treasures. Brass's Bounty's in, really to back up the Revel of Riches win. Avenger of Zendikar's in. It's a bit of a no-brainer. Green decks, a lot of green decks in Commanders come with Avenger of Zendikar now. Get one if you haven't got one on MTGO. It gives you a whole load of plant tokens, which you can obviously use to ping if we need be with Goblin Bombardment, Seer, the ones I was talking about earlier. Old Gnawbone's in, and we've got a few dragons in the deck. Prossh is one, Corvold, Wasitora, Zitora. Seems like I might as well have it in. Get some more creatures on the go, get some more damage in, and basically create those treasure tokens. That's why Karatha's Tyrant of Jun's in here. There's a lot of dragon decks to get around at the moment. Mirim has been really popular played on MTGO in the last few weeks. The price has dropped on MTGO, so there's a lot more people playing dragon decks now, and I figured nicking everyone's dragons with Karatha's was a good idea, and if they try to steal them back, hopefully I'll be able to sack them off to the Seer or the Goblin Bombardment, also some such thing. The final card, Blasphemous Act. Another 13 damage to everything. Really helps keep the board under control. And that's really it. There is one card up here that I haven't included, Savage Ventmore. I did think about it, decided against it. Didn't really do much apart from add the mana. That's why you can see it on the screen up here. But that's my Prossh deck. I hope you enjoyed this. A couple of things I'd like you to do now if you're watching this to the end of the video, and I really hope you are. Please hit the like button or leave a comment, even if it's the down like button. I'll cope with it. I'd like to know why you're saying no. If I've done something wrong, let me know in the comments, but I really hope you hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button. Please, I'm sitting currently as I record this video at 29 followers on YouTube. I'd really like to see that go up to sort of like double, maybe up to 50. I'm aiming for 50 by the end of October. Yes, it's not going to do anything for me on YouTube, but it makes me feel a little bit better knowing there's 50 people enjoying my video. But the thing I'd really like you to do is down below, you can see my link to my Twitch stream. I'd really like to try and get up to 150 followers on there. I've got 100 at the moment. My birthday is very early in October, so I'd like to try and get to the 150 mark by October if I can. So if you've got a minute and you've got a Twitch account, just go and hit the follow button. If you've got a spare sub kicking around, Amazon Prime, wouldn't mind you using that on me either, but I'm not asking for that. I just want the followers at the moment. So that's it. Thanks for watching this deck tech. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will be back very soon with another one. I've got a few. I did a list on my Twitter feed. You can come and follow me on Twitter as well. Rekmar Gaming. Find me on Twitter. I do updates on there. I posted a list out the other day. This is the first one of those deck techs from that list I posted out of what I'm going to do over the next few weeks. So go follow me there as well. But thanks for watching the video. Take care. Enjoy your evening or morning or lunch or wherever you're watching this from, and I'll hopefully see you on stream soon. Bye.